Okay, all right. So next up, our last session of the day, we got Gene Campbell. You guys know him from Colorado, probably the longest trip here of anybody, and Rick Valadez, and they're going to talk about tournament fishing. Whether it's kayak, I don't know, just general things about tournament fishing. They'll talk to you, and if you have questions after, that'd be great. It doesn't have to go very long if you want. It's up to you guys, but we'll record this. It'll be available on Fishing Intel. So Rick and Gene, and both good fishermen. So
how's it going, guys? All right, we'll buzz through this bad boy here. I'll try not to bore you on this too much here, and hopefully I can impart a little bit of wisdom, some old guy stuff that'll improve your experience and give you longevity. That's ultimately the goal here. My name is Gene Campbell. I am the founder and executive director of the True Patriot Outfitters. As most of you, I think I've met just almost everybody except maybe you two guys yet. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We provide outdoor recreational services to our nation's warfighting families. We get them outdoors. The whole purpose of this is to improve quality of life and provide a pathway to healing. Now, we do this through kayak fishing and camping. The reason kayak fishing is used in our areas is because, quite frankly, from the competitive field, I've never seen a community that is more built on that tribal connection and community driven than competitive kayak fishing. 13 years ago, I started my competition time, and that I started in bass boats. Actually, no, I didn't. I started in a Capri 16-footer with a Force 125 sitting on the back. And I entered a field of about 12 different guys that were fishing at a local derby, and I was the only non-bass boat there. And boy, I'll tell you what, a myriad of fast track of learning through that deal there. Pretty much anything that could go right or wrong did in that first event there. But the cool thing was I had my 6th grade son with me for the first ever competition that I went out with. We started there. I've been involved in sports on some level since I was a kid, played pretty much everything in the sandlot, and then played organized football through high school. I boxed in high school. Then in my 30s, I became a hockey goaltender because I'm that special kind of you need to be a goaltender in hockey. In my late 20s, I started coaching. I coached football, track, and hockey throughout almost 20 years. Competition's always been a part of my life, and so when I had the love for the outdoors and competition, it was a natural marriage for me. It became very easy. The key pieces, now I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it takes to be successful at results when it comes to competition. The reason I'm not going to do this, because if you look at my resume, you're going to say, why is this guy talking to me about this? You want to know about the winning side, you talk to guys like the guy sitting next to me, you talk to Marty Hughes, you talk to the Drew Gregorys, you talk to the Russ Snyders. Those guys, if they haven't figured out, I don't know what the heck it is, but they seem to be able to find those higher results out there. But what I am going to share with you real quick are 4 keys that's, number 1, going to improve your experience, be it through kayak or boat or wherever when it comes to competition, which will lead you to a longer and more positive experience and a longer career doing it. Because I promise you, some of your best ups and some of your lowest lows will come from competition fishing. There's been days I've come off that water mad in a mosquito in a mannequin factory, man. It'll get you, it'll light you up. 4 keys, 4 pieces that you're going to need to get you there. The items that you need. You can put them on a list and they can fit in one hand when it comes to finding that positive experience and having a long-term piece. The very first on that item, actually I should say, of those 4 items, here's the part that you're going to think, uh-oh, he's going hoo-hoo on me. You can't buy any one of these. I know a lot of people say getting into competition fishing of some level, if I don't have the boat, or if I don't have the forward-facing sonar, or if I don't have this, I can't compete. I'm telling you, that's a lie. If you look at the guy that just cleaned house at Havasu, and you look at the videos that he just shared, that wasn't his kayak. He had half a day to practice. The guy's a phenom, make no mistake. But he went into that thing. I think if the video didn't lie to me, if you're looking closely, the electronics he had was his phone. Okay, and he went and cleaned house on the biggest stage in our sport, down in Havasu. And he's from Ohio. So these are polar different bodies of water. Because he carries this list of these things that you're going to need. The very first thing that you're going to need is an open mind. in competition fishing. You need to be committed to learning. That, I can't express this. There is one absolute in competition fishing. One. And that is, there's no absolutes. I was told a long time ago, son, this is an art form. It ain't a science. That's the worst thing you can tell a hockey goaltender. Dude, I live in stats. Okay, stats and numbers. To me, it was a mathematical solution to solve this competition piece. That's what I needed to do. Yeah, well, it's 12 years later, and about 8 years ago, I stopped doing the math because I realized, my God, he's right. This is an art form. Mother Nature, she will have her way with you. Just when you think you got it figured out, pow, she'll give you a good slap, knock you right off your list there. So stay open-minded. Be willing to pay attention to what is being told to you by Mother Nature, by the weather, by the lake, by the fish. All these things are going to give you feedback. You can have the greatest practice in the world, find fish on 5, 6, 7 different spots, head out there on tournament day, guess what? They're gone. Especially if you're chasing smallmouth.
Happens all the time.
Right? Smallmouth are one of the most nomadic creatures, I think, on the planet. They say they don't migrate that far, but baloney. I bet you there's lacrosse fish sitting down in Louisiana right now.
Yeah, you're used to that with the smallmouth in Colorado. So.
You can't ever bet on them, man. They'll burn you every time. But the piece that you need to do is come tournament morning, when you get out there, pay attention. Stay open-minded and watch what's going on. Because chances are, you follow your gut, you follow, like these guys told us before we came on, follow your strengths. You'll find yourself results if you're staying open-minded and being willing to learn what's being told to you out there. The second piece, one of the biggest names in our sports, G-Man runs around talking about a positive mental attitude. And he's right. But if any of you guys are like me, I don't wake up, hey boys, how you doing? Till I get me some of that nectar of the juice from that bean, that coffee. I am not a social creature, I promise you that. How do you get to that positive mental attitude? It comes from one thing that I coach as a principle throughout every sport that I've ever coached, and that is mental toughness. Physical toughness, yes. You don't usually think about it in the sport of fishing, but there is a level. You're going to put yourself in some physical, funny stuff in tournament fishing. But above that, mental toughness. You have to be willing to endure the ups and the downs, take them as they come, pushing forward, always thinking. That's how you'll achieve that positive mental attitude. One of the best stories about this came from a marshal that told me this story. He was in the boat with Kevin Van Dam back in the heyday when Van Dam was wiping the floor with pretty much everybody out there. And Van Dam hadn't caught fish all day, had none in the live well. All of a sudden he grabs this jerk bait and he throws it out. He's jerking away a couple times, boom, hooks up. He brings this thing in, and as he's bringing it up and boat swinging it in, doop, comes off. The guy said before he could go, oh, Van Dam had already cast it again. Van Dam was right back out there and he's doing it. About 4 or 5 more casts, boom, hooks in again. As he's coming up, he goes to boat flipping. Not only did it come off, but the bait broke off. And the fish and the bait took off. And the marshal's sitting here going, oh my God, this guy's about to lose his cool left and right. Van Dam sets the rod down. He looks up and he goes, well, at least I know what they're biting. Grabs another rod and he goes right back to it. It didn't faze him. It didn't even, I'm over there inventing cuss words. I promise you that. But a guy like that was dialed in with his mental toughness, he knew exactly what he did is he took out of this bad situation, he took the positive. Well, I know what they're biting now. And he went back to work.
Well, I think that's the hardest part
right?
of tournament fishing or fishing in general. Like
all day.
You get spun out, you're gonna sit, and I gotta sit. Like if I spin out, I'm just like, all right, pull up on the bank for a minute, just chill out. We cuss a few times and get back at it. And
turn the GoPro off.
Get back at it. That's the mental part's that I think is the toughest part of doing it.
And it's, a guy like me, like I said, goaltender, stats, man, math, everything. I'm always trying to recalculate things. I'm looking at high percentages. That's my game, right? Is predictive movements. And I want to try to predict the fish and where it's going to move. And I'm going to try to take away all or predict where, these things. Yeah, if you get too caught up in that stuff, man, it'll spin you out, like Rick just said. And that ruins your day at that point. You're not making good decisions anymore because why? Is you're cutting into number one. You're not listening to what's going on out there. You're not paying attention to that stuff. In the kayak game, I will say, this is something that was a big opener. I've been in kayaks now for 3 years, and one of the things that I had no clue of coming from the boat world is how much the wind changes throughout a day. Holy biscuits. I mean, and you're affected by it now. I mean, I didn't know how much a 2-pound bass could tow the front end of my kayak around. And that little critter certainly can. They're strong. You know, I had a 21-foot bass boat with a 250 Merc sitting off the back. Nothing was moving me, man. If I drop power poles down, I'm not moving. and that stuff. But the wind, it changes that direction. It starts changing when you're a power fisherman like me, man. Wind's everything. I love wind. I'm looking for that blown bank, right? It's going to start moving things, and now I'm going to try to get in front of them before they get there. And yeah, you got to pay attention to that stuff. The third piece, realistic expectations when you're going into these tournaments. Set them right. I'm going to give 2 quick examples to burn through this a little bit faster here. If your expectations, let's say you're brand new to tournament fishing or relatively new to tournament fishing, and your expectation, you're looking at the schedule and you see a schedule of, yeah, I've been there once or twice, and actually I've fished that a lot, never been to this one. You're looking at this club, and this club's got some anglers that have been doing this for quite a few years, this and that. And you said, okay, I'm ready to go. I got all my gear, got everything I need. I've done my back study. I'm ready to go. If you walk into that, and your expectation is I'm going to put in 5 fish in the boat, and I'm going to cash me a check today. Well, get ready to get real mad. Because chances are, the numbers say, trust the goalie, the numbers say that's not going to happen your first time out or early on. Our sport is brutal when it comes to this. The expectation that you just put up there holds some key variables, and I'm going to show you the opposite of it. Now, let's say a realistic goal, I'm going to give you some realistic expectations. I want to fish clean. I want to do my homework right, and I want to make sure I exhaust everything that I know cleanly throughout the day on the given areas that I practiced. And fishing clean, for those of you that are maybe unfamiliar with the term, means I get 5 bites, I put 5 fish on that board. Okay? I did everything right. My hooks were good. If you're from the old school like me, I still carry a hook sharpener with me. Now, mind you, I have American-made hooks in my boat these past couple of years, so I don't have to sharpen them near as much anymore because I got Eagle Claw. But the fact of the matter is, what's the difference in those 2 sets of expectations? The first set is a bunch of stuff you can't control. Okay? That first set of stuff, are you going to get, are you going to top 10? As much as you'd like to think that's in your control, you got another 20 monkeys out there doing the same thing you're doing that have the same idea. And the difference is they know the body of water maybe a little bit better, and they've been doing this a lot more years. So there's a lot of that stuff that's outside of your control right there, that end result. You're missing all the work that needs to get to that end result there, because that work inside is the stuff you can handle, which is I'm going to fish clean. I'm going to make sure my gear's right. I'm going to do everything that I can do. Those results then become the byproduct of that work. I don't care if you're starting at a local club of 6 anglers or you're going to Bassmaster at Kissimmee and you're facing 250 anglers. You are still only fishing against one person, and that's yourself. Every time you go out, it's you against you. If it's you against the fish, you're missing something, in my personal opinion. You'll lose. Mother Nature will win every time. It's you working with those fish is what you hope for. If it's you against 249 people, I know some of you guys look pretty tough in here, but 249 guys, I don't think anybody's going to take that on. And that's a 249 other people game planning the same strategy with just as much on the line as you have, and just as much want and desire as you have. At least, let's say 100 of them. So you got to handle, your expectations should be based on you, is what I'm trying to pass on. You focus on the variables that you can control, and then as time goes on, you'll start to be able to stretch out of that comfort zone a little bit. Okay, I got my 5 fish, but I just don't want 5 fish. I want 5 big fish. Now, where are the big fish supposed to be? What's a good big fish bait? You can start flexing to that. In my opinion, if you're just getting rolling into it, or you've been into it for a year or 2, take your time working to that piece. Build. Everything's about a collection of work as opposed to 1 or 2 deals. Last but not least, self-awareness and common sense. I'm going to mix those 2 together. On the kayak side is what I'm going to speak to on this. Even in the boat side, though, this falls into it. The wind's blowing 15, it's raining. You got 2-3 foot swells, let's say, on this body of water. You're in a kayak. Have you been in that kind of water before during practice and when things weren't on the line and when you weren't on a clock? In a boat, that's nothing. You can cut that all day long. But let's up the size of swells there. Let's say the weather gets a little bit crazy. And the tournament director says, line's in at this time, and we're going this deal. Now, most tournament directors really watch the safety side very, very carefully. But there will come a time where they're going to say line's in and they're going to say we're go. And you're going to be faced with walking out into some water that you're uncomfortable with. Common sense and self-awareness. Know your equipment, know your skill level. Guess what? If you need to wait an hour to go, wait an hour. No fish is ever going to be worth you getting yourself tangled up. On the kayak game, if I see Rick on the water and I've never seen him before and I see he's got a kayak and he's in trouble, I'm going to help him. Every kayak angler I have ever come across has been that open. They will take care of each other, man. It's a close community out there. So if I don't do my job, paying attention to what I'm doing, well, now I'm putting him, I'm ruining his day, and now he's going to help my dumb butt because I shouldn't have been out there in that kind of area. Know your limits, man. Follow this stuff. Don't try to flex. That's dumb. That's how people end up in trouble. Know your limits. If you want to stretch your limits, go out with a buddy, not during a tournament. Go play in some stuff out there and get yourself a little bit more acclimated to some of those areas. Know your gear, know your skill levels. Follow those 4 things, man. Open-minded, mental toughness, realistic expectations, and self-awareness. You do that, you can take the most positive that comes out of tournament fishing. And it's been the most amazing. I sit here before you because of competitive fishing. Marty Hughes and I competed against each other at the All-American Kayak Series event at Wilson Lake 3 years ago. I think it was 3 at Wilson. That's when I first met the guy. Didn't know who he was from Adam. Asked him about his camper. Hey man, you mind if I ask you about your camper a little bit? Because my camp just got wiped out by a little Kansas storm the night before. So my camp looked like a refugee camp from Beirut sitting out here. And I went into one of the towns and got a hotel for the night. I was like, I'll clean that up tomorrow. Well, I come by at one of the other campsites and there's this gray-haired fellow sitting over here eating something that looked really good. And he's got a really cool camper. And I'm like, hey man. It's like my second kayak tournament ever. And here I am trying to deal with all this mess. He's like, come on over. We start shooting breeze. I leave that, went back to my hotel room that evening, and I look him up, and I'm like, holy crap, that's Marty Hughes. This guy's like, started this sport damn near. And it's been that. Everybody that I've met, I have 11 people on my pro team from Missouri through Colorado that are on the pro team for the TPO. Every last one of them I met because of competitive fishing. And not only are they anglers and hooks, and I probably have bought a lot of their fishing rods they have in them because I've donated my entry fee to them, but the fact is they're amazing human beings. They're great people. So you can have that, man, from the boat world to the kayak, doesn't matter. This can be one of the coolest things. So while Drew and Rick and these guys will take my money all day long, I promise you they're not having any better of a time out there than I am. They just got more money to do it. So
I don't have none of the fancy stuff. I have no motor, all leg power. I got side scan, no forward facing sonar yet, but
that's right. Win your way there.
But I think there's an advantage to it, yes, but for me, not yet.
Would you agree, Rick? It's a tool. It's just like you don't need the G Loomis rod.
No, yeah.
You can get away with an ugly stick, go catch fish.
When I first tournament I fished was one of Marty's catch-all. I had an 8-foot sit inside, no electronics. I took 2 rods and 2 little boxes, and I finished second behind him. And I was hooked right there. Like I didn't know anything about tournaments. Just ran into a random guy. And, hey, it was a tournament. You guys have tournaments out of these things? Yeah, okay. I'll try it. He's like, all you need is a board. Went to Shields, bought a board, life jacket, and a whistle, he says. Show up. Okay. That was Nate Gloria.
Was that before the cell phone era?
No, this was
submission?
No, we still use Turning X. That was, I think, in 2017 or 18.
Kayak fishing initially, they were actually using measuring tapes, and that's how it was done. And it was, it was wrote down or a picture was taken, the best you could, and you didn't submit it, you had to go back to weigh in and show your measuring and show your picture and everything to get through. Talk about taking forever on that. That took a while.
Yeah, when I started, it was, there might have been 15 guys that were in it. I didn't know anybody, like, just showed up. Okay. We said, finish second, I was hooked. I was like, oh, this is pretty easy, So I signed up for, a couple weeks later, I think there was like a bigger tournament. It's like, oh, I'll go over there. There's like 60 guys, and are all on these fancy Hobies. I'm still in my little sit inside, 2 rods, a couple little boxes. And yeah, I was pretty intimidated when I first started. And as you got to know everybody, like the kayak side is best people in the world. Like you can't find better people. Like anybody would help anybody out. So I think that's the competition is fun. Like is the fun part of doing it. I don't really go out and fun fish, I guess, anymore. Most of it's time for something, but whether it's a monthly or whatever.
One other piece that goes across all, no matter the platform you're fishing on, be it boat or kayak, know the rules. Take the time to read them and understand them. If you have questions, ask. Don't ask sea lawyers. Okay, going to Facebook group and going, hey, what's this mean? Is not the place that you're going to get reliable info. Go directly to the tournament director with that question. Rule number such and such states this. I think it means this. Is that right? Know this stuff inside and out, because I promise you'll be wrong every time there's a question. And then you're going to get upset. And then you're going to be like, well, what the heck? Figure it out before you get out there. You got to know the rule sets that are going on out there. The captain's meetings, the angler meetings that go on before, especially on the boat side, fellas, be at them. We had a situation last year. Trey McKinney, I don't know if you guys remember that situation. Got himself in a little bit of hot water because he went into fished out of bounds because he decided angler meeting wasn't so important. Guess what? They put up a new section at the angler meeting. They made the mention about an area that was off limits and that was marked by buoys. This wasn't known before the meeting. Trey went flying on in there with his marshal because that's what he thought was still, prior to that meeting, it was still in bounds. But unfortunately, it got a few other of the old timers to go, hey, you see it, you got to report it. That's actually in the rule sets with Bassmaster. You as an angler, if you see somebody violating a rule and you don't say anything and it's found out later, you'll get in just as much trouble as they do. You can have your catch disqualified. It's the way we're supposed to police each other. So don't, and a good tournament director will tell you that leading into it is, don't take any of this personal. Me personally as an angler, if I see you out there like, yo bro, boundary, might want to jump back over. Now if you tell me to go pound sand and you go fishing, all right dog, go, you do you. I'll let the TD know later. But if it's like, oh crap, because most of the time that's what it is. It's like, oh crap. But again, try not to be that old crap dude. Know your rules, getting into it.
I run a lot of tournaments, so being the TD sometimes sucks.
It sucks.
But you should know the rules. Like, people don't follow the rules, don't listen, don't read up on it. It's not I'm not supposed to tell you. You're supposed to read it and know it yourself, So, like you said, read the rules, because I've disqualified a lot of fish.
Would you agree that
guys that could have won a lot of money?
Most of the time it's a mistake as opposed to a blatant, like, I'm going to try to skirt the system. Most of the time it's just shit. That type of situation that comes
Common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense. Like, that's... Yeah.
Any questions specific? We cover it all. You guys ready to go? Look out, Bassmaster opens. Guys gonna mop the field. And a cool thing, Bassmaster just announced in the last couple of days they're starting a collegiate kayak series. How freaking awesome is that? Our little sport continues to grow further and further. It'll be nice when they get to a true pro field, because we don't have one of those yet. Right now we're all pay to play. I can go out and give my money away to the best anglers in the world. I can go give it away to the local guys here. Doesn't matter. There's no qualification. It's all pay to play. You know, to get in. If you got the money, yeah, they'll take it from you. You get out there. But even I will tell you, man, Steve Owens, that runs Bassmaster for the kayak side, one of the best human beings. He's in that. He and Marty were built in the same mold. Steve Owens is an amazing guy. He's running a great ship over there, and they're very lucky to have him. On the kayak side of things. I hope for the best of luck with Bassmaster as a whole in competition, where it goes. They may not be 100% where they want to be just yet, but they're the one organization, in my opinion, that's actually trying. They're trying to listen. They're trying to move forward. Let's hope they get it right. I think it's a work in progress. I really hope MLF figures something out eventually, because man, did they have a great idea. You see Bassmaster going towards that. Now they've got all of a sudden an angler board. That was the whole reason MLF was created, was to get a board and a league directed by anglers. That was what they wanted. Bass and FLW told them to go pound rocks. No, you can't have that. So they went and did it on their own. Unfortunately, I think James Watson's figured out the real problem over there. But who am I? Just an opinion. Yeah, sports. It's a tough thing, man, trying to make a living at it. I don't think there's like 3 people, I think, that are making a living in the kayak game right now. Maybe you could probably still count them on one hand. You gotta have, it used to be, so I have a business degree. That's what I spent a lot of college debt on. And I tried for so many years to figure out, how do you make a living doing this? How do you make a living? Where's the business model that makes sense? This is what I want to do for me. Of course, who doesn't? 6 years, not a single business model ever made sense. It used to be that you could do this, have success, but you needed a side hustle, right? To bring it all together. You can't use Van Dam, Iconelli, and those guys. You can't use those as the gauge. Okay, they're the upper oddball 2% that's running around up there. You got to look at all the other guys, the John Does you never heard of that are doing it. That's the guys who are still making a living. Were they rich? No, but they fished for a living. How bad could it be, right? So I started looking at that, and that's the way it used to be. You got to find some success, be consistent, and have side hustle. I can tell you about 7-8 years ago, it went the other way. You got to have a main gig that makes you the money, and you better hope you got a little bit of success while you fish. Because the money just it doesn't match up, man. It's just there's only so much in the industry out there. It's not as cool as what people think. They think everybody's giving everything for free, and that's just not the case. Those anglers pay a lot of money to do what they do.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see what the whole elites not paying.
Yeah,
how
that'll be interesting.
How that's going to turn out.
They wanted it. They asked for it.
And you guys fish out of kayaks or at all, or all boats? Never, no kayaks ever.
Kayak guys over here. I know CP.
Yeah.
All three of you guys kayaks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Guys. Yeah.
Nice. Got a good mix. All the boat guys are one table.
So you guys do tournaments all over the place, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also.
Collegiate series through Bassmaster?
We do Bassmaster and MLF, and then ECA. Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's another ACA. Like they're a little smaller than MLF and Bassmaster, but Bassmaster is definitely the biggest.
You know, for the longest time, they used to say, when I was first looking at this thing, the pros used to say, if you want to make money in this sport, go fish the FLW. Some of you remember back when the FLW was a thing. That's where you could actually, there was a monetary gain you could actually make. But if you wanted to make a name for yourself, you need to fish Bassmaster. Because that had the biggest names in the sport were involved in it. You know, and when that apple cart got knocked over and things swapped around, it kind of changed that whole landscape. What doesn't help us as anglers, whether we have opinions or not on what didn't help us, is that the two organizations didn't want to work together. We pay the price for that at the end of the day. It's less money going to this, less money going to that, less competition, less innovation, more big conglomerate companies snatching up all the little companies, the GSM Outdoors, Pure Fishing continues to buy up baits. That's a product of this, because people are going to say, fat cat's going to make their money. That's just the way business works. Regardless of us sitting out here going, yo, why is that jerkbait, $25. It looks the same as this $9 one. You know, at some point we gotta stop paying at $25, then they won't put that price tag, but damn things catch fish. So.
Questions? Yeah, you guys all been doing it for a while.
You guys are good sports to come in here and listen to us jabber.
You? I think you just started this year, right?
Well, I fished out of the kayak, but I'm fully retired now, so I'm gonna do more competitive.
Nice.
But I'm just gonna keep it local.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not trying to make money.
Right.
I just wanna have fun.
Realistic expectations, brother. I love it.
So when you first got into the competitive side, what do you think your biggest struggle was?
It's intimidating because there's so many good people out there.
Yeah.
that-
You said,
I mean, I was scared of taking a photo and having the fish jump out. Great, I'm gonna have my big fish, he's gonna jump out and.
Do I tell him now? Do this long enough, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, dog. They jump off those boards sooner or later.
So I'm just
I've
getting
lost lots
good
of
at
money
it.
by those fish jumping off the board. It's tough.
The submissions where you see a picture of a blurry but a fish is in midair jumping, and the guy still submits that to the judge. It's like, oh, sorry, man.
The Marty's catch all you can thing last year was really helpful. No pressure, just go out and catch fish. And, so maybe I can win one.
You know,
you did fairly well in those.
But the lakes around, I live in Lincoln, the lakes around Lincoln are really down right now. But the guys up in Omaha have wonderful lakes up there. So.
There's still some good fish to be had around there.
Yeah, there's a few lakes.
You know, it seems that the guys that find the success consistently over and over, they've got that mental game to the point where they go fish. They just go fish, and they stay in their wheelhouse. Some of them put their game face on. I know some guys that I can sit here and joke back and forth and make jokes about their wife and everything. We know each other that well, and on tournament day, I won't even say hi to them because I know they are just so focused and locked in, and I'm like, dog, breathe, dude. Just take it easy. No one's going to Tahiti on this, okay? You know, no lives are on the line at this point here. We're okay. But some guys, that's how they compete. You know, that's how they get themselves in the zone or whatever. And it's like, cool, brother, go for it. You know, you do you. That's the cool thing about the sport. Then there's other people, you know, that just shut up. You know, Andy, I scared Andy more at Elwood last year. I hadn't had my coffee, and I've been known to be kind of an a-hole until I have my coffee. And I was provoked though, because people, that's one ramp. When you unload your kayak, don't leave it right there. Slide it down, you know, be considerate. No, there were like 4 or 5 of them, and I'm just sitting there. Like, are you kidding me? Come on. There's like 5 trucks behind me, you know, we all got to launch here. So finally I got out and I just moved the kayaks myself. I'm like, sorry man, but you know, got to get this thing out of here. So I drop it out. As I'm driving up, Andy comes walking down. He goes, hey, was that you holding up the red there, Gene? I'm like, no, trust me, it was not me. Andy later's like, dude, did I upset you? No, I just hadn't had my coffee yet. Everybody handles tournament days, you know, a little bit different there, but you know, just you'll find what works best for you. And to me, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out that just go fishing thing. I don't know if I've figured that out yet.
Me, I like to have a few too many the night before.
There you go.
That's my go-to.
You?
They know. They all know. They all know.
You seem never rip
They all
fishing, Mr.
know. That's. I think when I get out there, I'm relaxed. Like I might feel like crap, but I'm relaxed. I don't let it get to my head.
Do you guys at this stage right now, do you get butterflies the night before thinking about how you're going to execute? Okay, yeah. That's normal. That's part of it. I I still get them after all these years, and I'm just, I could be fishing $200, or no bucks, just going out the next day trying to make sure I put a whooping on my buddies. Yeah, butterflies start kicking in. It's that competitor side of you starts kicking in. How about you, CP? You get nervous at all?
You know what? Not really anymore.
Nice.
No, not really.
See what happens when you win enough?
I think doing too many. Well, so I've been kayak fishing for 6 years now, I want to say, 5
Wow.
6 years, and there's probably maybe 10 tournaments a year. But the big ones I still get nervous about, but most of them are local stuff.
And isn't that funny though? Like you say, the big ones. It's, for even in our sport right now, it's still body of water, right? It's just the games we play with ourselves up here. That's what affects pretty much everything. Decisions.
When I first got started, it was intimidating. Like, man, now go to the national tournaments and I could launch right there with Russ or Steen or anybody. It doesn't affect me like any given day I can beat them. Like, so
Totally.
I think the only intimidating part with being in the kayak side, or knowing my little bit, because I don't know how to swim, good idea, but the bigger the lake.
Yeah.
I did bass boat stuff before 2020. People weren't gonna bother me. When my brothers on the gear, and if I want the boat, don't bother me.
Yep.
You turn around, take 10 there on the kayak, I'm gears all with it. I don't think it's the size, I think it's the size factor. Some of the lakes we fish, I've never been on some of them. I've been in the kayak stuff now for 2 years, and started with the Harlan kayak guys, and most of them have been pretty friendly. There's a couple of them just hot ducks. Anybody in the kayak industry, there's a whole, I met a few at Batch 250 that I hope I never talk to ever again, because they weren't very friendly. That a lot of people love them, and I found they were complete jerks about it. That's my biggest fear is size of water of the kayak.
Big water. That's legit though. That's that self-awareness, man, and that's good. You can go out with buddies during outside of competition time and start stretching yourself a little bit, and then you can, if your desire.
Situations with it, but it's just still, it's just something that I think it's just comfortable, just the sheer size, and you're just like a little dot. You know what I mean?
The no swimming thing might be something you might want to figure out, like a dog paddle or something, something around there. Life, yes, PFD. Swear to unholy Jeebus. See another nut job out there without a PFD on. I'm a former first responder. I work for the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team. And so, yeah, you want to have, I'll gladly have a conversation with somebody about the dangers of not having a PFD on. I want to talk about numbers. My goodness, PFD better be on you the moment you're on that water. Oh, that one gets to me. No, big water's legit, man. That's, even in a boat, that can be intimidating. The difference in a boat is you can cut that big water down in a hurry. Cruising at 65 miles an hour, I could run main lake points, and I could cover 40, 50 miles, no problem.
No time at all.
What's that?
You can bounce from one spot to another spot in no time at all. If you don't like this section of water, you can change in 20 minutes, be in a totally different ballpark of water.
In a kayak, you want to get to that other side of the water where it's like, dang, that's a hot minute away. Even at 4 miles an hour, start doing your math, it's 15 minutes a mile, that you're clicking off. And if you even put your hat backwards, it doesn't seem to help. I've tried it to improve aerodynamics. Doesn't seem to improve it too much. So yeah. And 4, I think, is pretty. You got some guys cranking 6, 7 miles an hour right now, and it's like, go ahead, turn. Enjoy your swim. Some of these boats are not meant to be turned at 6 miles an hour, I promise you. Especially when you're built with upper weight management, because whee is where you go, and your boat goes that way. Yeah. Pretty much covers on it. No questions. Thank you guys so very much for entertaining us. Tight lines out there.
Were you driving back again today?
No. I've learned, I'm self-aware when it comes to the amount of how far I can drive after doing a day's worth of stuff.
I don't know how to.
About 4 hours is about my limit.
I don't know how to shut that off.
Maybe the classics.
Yes, okay.
And I think that's what
Good
it's
stuff.
you want to do.
You know, it's like, I used to be that guy that, you know, see a face and never forget.
That term would have probably had somewhat of a beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably gray.
Well, in last time, I know that feeling. Yeah, and
But I
usually
got
come
more
parts
comfortable with
with
the
off.
wing.
I
Yeah.
put this on.
Mine is some shade. It's when I'm out.
Yeah. Is that a white pickup?
No.
You almost
I just fell for my keys in my pocket. I hit that hit the button.
Going from boat to kayak and being out there, it is so different. Yeah. Alright.
Well, lady got me this for Christmas.
And you know, that's the funny thing is, like, when I'm explaining to people that don't do this, I'm like, look, it's pretty simple. It's two things. Find them and catch them, right? That's really all this is.
You know, when you really a lot more than two things.
Oh, right. You can really, you know, get into the weeds with it, but it's, yeah, where are they at and how
There's actually he's a buddy of mine. So I got out of the army, and then I was looking for something or something. And he's working buddy of mine grabbed me from and he's like, hey, come with me. And I had a kayak at the time, so I was still fishing out of the kayak. And I jumped in the going or stuff. And I bought a boat. Boat keeps fucking breaking down. And so last year I was starting to save for fixing the boat.
That was actually, I had a trike that took delivery of a brand new boat.
Cause I was going there, I always had that kayak.
And
I still got it.
So
My
we
dad's
had,
like Marty's.
I think 5 tournaments, so I was able to get in.
Marty's little.
I was involved in several, through the central region. We had 5 in, and then the swap over came, finalized the purchase of FLW. So then they redid all the zones, so 2021, we were also going back for Minnesota. So my truck and boat came out in Colorado first, you know, we flopped here, and this thing brought everything else, the other service. I think I got in 6 times for that. So it's like, just when we were trying to get off the ground and run, everything was just shut down.
Oh, yeah, well, it's
When's the longest?
I wanted to do,
I don't wanna have to keep track of it. Very good. No, I guess maybe it's next one.
We're still going.
Yeah. Oh, is this still recording?
Hope you didn't say anything here that.
That's it.
Stop recording.